In today's video, we're talking about 5 reasons why you might want to buy the Suzuki Boulevard M50 and 5 reasons why you might want to take a pass on it. Now, full disclosure, I'm Adrian from Motorcycle. I make motorcycle content videos aimed at helping you guys out. This is not my personal bike. I don't have a personal bias in this. I have owned 3 Boulevard M50s over the last 15 years, which also means I have sold 3 Boulevard M50s over the last 15 years. So I think I'm in a good position to give you guys the best non-biased review that I can. So the first reason to buy one is simply aesthetic. If you like this kind of look, if you like more of a sort of muscle cruiser look, this is a great bike for you. There are basically 2 different generations of this bike. There's 05 to around 2010-ish and then 2010-ish until present. First generation, chromed headlight as opposed to a more sort of cowled headlight that sort of matches the M90 and the M109R. That second gen is going to have a handlebar that's a little bit further back, a little bit more comfortable, a little bit less aggressive than this first generation is. And then on the first gen, you're going to have this nice bobbed, swept back kind of fender. On the second gen, they make it look more like the M109 and the M90. If you're into this kind of muscle cruiser look, that's definitely your first reason why you might want to buy this bike. Now, the flip side to that, the first reason not to buy this bike is also aesthetic. Obviously, if you're looking for something that's more sort of traditional 1980s style kind of cruiser, this isn't the bike for you, this isn't the look for you. Check out the Suzuki C50 instead. It's got the same motor, it has a lot of shared components with this bike. That might be more your style. The second reason to buy is this bike is super easy to handle. It's something I immediately felt like I knew how to ride one as soon as I got on it. Center of gravity is really down low. It's really easy to handle. Nice wide handlebar makes it easy to throw around. It's not the lightest bike. It's not that heavy, which kind of worked to my detriment because I was trying to play hardball with the seller the first time I got on it, and he saw me get on this bike, and just from my very first corner, I was just scraping pegs. You don't have to ride it like a maniac, but the point is that you could if you wanted to. It's that maneuverable. Second reason not to buy an M50, it's not a real muscle cruiser. Yeah, sure, it's easy to handle and it's beginner friendly, but the cost of that is it's not a real traditional muscle cruiser. Like my Harley-Davidson V-Rod, yeah, it's really apples to oranges because that's 800cc, this is 1100 for sure. So let's think about a traditional muscle cruiser. I'm talking about like going back to 1987, Honda Magna V45. That thing made as much torque, even though it was 750cc's instead of 800, as the M50 does, but it makes twice the horsepower. So if a 750cc muscle cruiser can make twice the horsepower, it's got the look, but it doesn't really have the oomph of a real, quote, real muscle cruiser. It is what it is. And the flip side to that is the third reason to buy it, which is the Boulevard M50. You get a really simple motorcycle. There's not a lot that can break. So what I mean by that is there's no ABS, there's no traction control, there's no ride-by-wire ride modes, there's not a lot of sensors, there's not a lot of stuff that can go wrong. Usually, if anything does go wrong on these bikes, it's not the bike's fault, it's user error. So it's very, very simple. Of course, the downside to that simplicity is sometimes it's too simple. It's a 5-speed transmission. Honestly, Suzuki would have done well to just give this a 6-speed. When I'm doing 140 kilometers, I know there's still power left, but I don't want to go there because then the bike starts revving a little bit too high and it starts to get just a little bit annoying. You're already in 5th gear, you're looking for 6th. It's that kind of bike. You wish there was a 6th gear, but there isn't. Now, in Suzuki's defense, I have that same situation with my V-Rod, but that's a whole other video, so let's stay on topic. Reason number 4 to buy one, now it's the side effect of having a simple motorcycle, and that's reliability. The M50 is known to be bulletproof. There's not a lot you can do to mess up this bike unless you're really terrible as an owner. Side note, I make videos all about how to service this bike. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see them. I have a video showing you guys how to do an oil change. I have a video showing you guys how to bleed the brake fluid. I have a video showing you guys how to change the shaft drive fluid. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see those. Back to the video. The motorcycle's only marginally changed over the last 17 years. This is a motor and a chassis that they are very familiar and very comfortable with, and that has a solid reputation for reliability. Speaking of reputations, it's not a Harley. If what you're looking for is a Harley-Davidson and that's what you've dreamed about having since you were a kid, this isn't it. This is a mistake that I have personally made. I thought it was time that I graduated up to a Harley. This was like 10 or so years ago. I was a student, or I was just getting out of school. I was young and impressionable, so I thought I had to move up to a Harley. I sold my M50 and I bought a Sportster after so many years riding Japanese motorcycles. I was young and impressionable, and they do so much marketing and stuff, and I got caught up in all of that and the Harley brand and all the BS, right? And let me just tell you guys, within 1 year of buying that Sportster, I turned around, I sold it, and I bought another M50. That being said, if this badge means everything to you, this isn't it. The fifth reason to buy a Boulevard M50, it is such an easy bike to maintain. So just from where I'm standing, right there is the oil filter. I can see, but you probably can't. The oil drain plug is up there. And from here, to do your shaft drive, you're literally gonna just take the lid off, drain it from here, put it back in, pour in the fresh stuff, turn it over. There's like half the maintenance you're ever gonna have to do on this bike right there. Air filter is not hard to get access to. Spark plugs can be a little bit tricky, but once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. Super, super easy to maintain motorcycle. And yes, that's right, it is shaft drive, which means you're not gonna have to worry about lubricating a chain, cleaning a chain, adjusting a chain, none of that stuff. All of that simplicity and all of that making a motorcycle for the everyman, it comes with a cost, which is there isn't as much you can do to modify this bike like there is for a Sportster, like there is for other mid-sized cruisers. The M50 does not have a lot of bolt-on knickknacks and stuff available for it in comparison to other bikes. Like for my Harley, I can get aftermarket covers that look really cool and not stock at all, and aftermarket LED headlights that fit the shape of the original motorcycle, not just replacing a bulb. There's all kinds of stuff that's made directly plug and play. I don't even have to wire this in. I can just get the harness connector that works with the Harley-Davidson plug, and it just plugs right in. There's no soldering, there's no crimping, nothing. There's like 10 different options for this one piece right here. There's chromes, there's black, there's mesh. I'm Italian, so I went with this one because it looks like a mozzarella grater to me. And honestly, I don't need that, but I just want to let you guys know that this is the reality, right? Point is, you can't do as much with this bike as you can with this. Speaking of mods, my next video after this one is going to be the top 5 mods that you should do if you do buy a Suzuki Boulevard M50. Hit subscribe to check that out. If you just want a simple, reliable, easy, practical, cool looking motorcycle, this is a great bike. And it's like I never stopped riding it every single day. This thing is so much fun, it's so easy to handle. It's never given me a problem. I've had 3 of them, so I'm talking from my own experience here. I ended up in the end switching over to the V-Rod because I wanted that real muscle cruiser. It does make literally twice the horsepower and 1.5 times the torque. But honestly, if you haven't been riding for 15 years and if you don't need all that vroom, right? You don't need this. This is a great, practical, fun motorcycle. Hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please do me a solid, hit the like button. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you guys. As always, ride safe, but have fun. Peace.